Hey guys, how's it going? Now, the Xiaomi 13 Pro is in the house, and with its flagship 1-inch sensor coupled with the LEICA partnership, it is coming out to be one of the best camera smartphones out there, at least on paper. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking me to compare this smartphone with the OnePlus 11, which undoubtedly is the best camera smartphone from the house of OnePlus, like at least so far. And of course, you are basically now seeing all the fruits of the Hasselblad partnership with OnePlus. So, between these two smartphones, which camera performance is better? Is it Leica or is it Hasselblad? The Xiaomi 13 Pro versus the OnePlus 11. Without wasting any time, let's just get right into it. Starting off with the daylight shots, both the phones have excellent detailing and structure. Now Xiaomi does have a bit more punchiness to its shots, but that's only at a very slight level. It's not immediately noticeable, but something you realize only when you compare it with the OnePlus 11. The OnePlus captures shots with a slightly warmer tone, which kind of makes sense since these shots were shot at the golden hour, but it does make it a very slight bit extra warm. On the other hand, Xiaomi goes for a more contrasty finish. Now neither here is color accurate, but I would still slide with OnePlus here being closer to reality. Speaking of which, the Xiaomi 13 Pro has the option to switch between LEICA Vibrant and LEICA Authentic. Now as you can guess, the names speak for themselves. Personally though, I found LEICA Vibrant shots to be a bit better, and that's the mode most folks will click shots with anyway, since it adds a bit of vibrance to the shots, making them all the more social media ready. Now coming back to the comparison, the reason why I said OnePlus is more color accurate can be understood better in these shots. Starting off with a shot of my jeans and shoes, the OnePlus 11 captures the colors of pretty much everything in the frame as it is. As for the Xiaomi 13 Pro, it makes my jeans look washed out while the shoes have a bluish tint on them, which is far from reality. The OnePlus 11 also has more detailed shots, at least on the first impression. However, once you zoom into the images, you do realize that it's mostly over sharpening, while Xiaomi clicks raw details. Now, most folks won't be able to tell the difference per se, but in slight portions, the detailing on the Xiaomi 13 Pro definitely feels natural as opposed to the softer enforced one on the OnePlus 11. Now moving on to HDR shots, again OnePlus 11's allegiance with warmer tones is evident here. That being said, apart from the color tones, the 11 also has slightly better shadows here. On the other side, the Xiaomi 13 Pro has a more vibrant image with stronger contrast. Now this definitely makes the whole image look a lot more vibrant and likable. Like if I had to pick one, even though the OnePlus 11 is still better in certain areas, I would personally slide with the Xiaomi 13 Pro. And this isn't the only example. Like I clicked multiple shots that have the same nature. Sure, the OnePlus 11 has better shadows, which technically translates to a better HDR performance overall, but the Xiaomi 13 Pro still comes out as my preferred choice simply due to the contrasty finish and tone that it offers. The images look, like Leica calls it, more vibrant, which I do like for sure. Now a better example of why this contrasty shot looks better is showcased here. Look at the road, the sun, and the greenery. From a technical aspect, the OnePlus 11 has a much better HDR performance here. You get boosted shadows without noise, and you get good control over the highlights as well. Even the color tones here are well balanced. Not only that, but the structure and detailing are also in OnePlus's favor. Despite all that, I'm sure most folks would like what Xiaomi is producing here with its contrasty shots. Even in this next shot, not only is the HDR better on the OnePlus 11, but the color accuracy is there too. Xiaomi is turning it bluish, which isn't the real color tone. Now switching things to ultrawide, this is probably the one area where I don't have a lot to talk about. See, both the phones have the same differences as seen previously, where OnePlus is more color accurate and has more details thanks to over sharpening, while the Xiaomi 13 Pro goes for a more vibrant tone with boosted contrast. Speaking of different modes, let's also talk about zooming capabilities. It's a 2x lens on the OnePlus 11 versus a 3.2x lens on the Xiaomi 13 Pro. Now on your screen, you can see the shots in 1x, 2x, and then 20x zoom. Now clearly the Xiaomi 13 Pro has better results here, offering more details. It's basically a no-brainer in this aspect. Also, one slight point, while the OnePlus 11 goes a max till 20x zoom, the Xiaomi 13 Pro can go a max of 70x zoom. Now, of course, it's still shy of Samsung's Ultra devices that have 100x zoom or 120x zoom. But then again, that's a different video for another day. Speaking of which, you should definitely turn on the bell icon and subscribe to our channel for when we do compare the 13 Pro with Samsung's Ultra flagships. Next up, let's talk about low light shots. Now that's one area where the Xiaomi 13 Pro has a clear advantage due to its one-inch sensor. It basically allows for more light to enter in. And this is evident in these shots that I captured in my home balcony. OnePlus captures the subject in an adequate brightness while still retaining the whole tone of it being a night shot. On the other hand, the Xiaomi 13 Pro sensor allows for more light to enter, so essentially you are always shooting at a higher exposure. Now this works well in the sense that not only is your end image much brighter, but you also have a lot of room to edit images without having to deal with noise. Now the same is showcased in these other images as well. OnePlus goes for a shot that highlights the subject while still retaining the effect of it being, well, essentially a low light image. Xiaomi gives you all the light you can take and then some, making it one of the brightest shots in low light condition. But what happens when light sources are introduced in the frame? Well, once again, Xiaomi has better illumination overall, but this time it's the OnePlus 11 that goes for a contrasty image. And see, that's the funny part. See, when we're talking about daylight shots, we saw that the Xiaomi 13 Pro was clicking more contrasty images that you could just directly share on your social media. Whereas when we talk about low light photography, it's the OnePlus 11 that clicks more contrasty images that are social media ready. Like seriously, in night mode, I would any day pick OnePlus 11 here because I don't have to edit these images in any manner. Now, are the shots captured by the Xiaomi 13 Pro better? On technical grounds, yes. But for likable factors, I still feel OnePlus does a better job here. And this statement is best explained in this next shot. Just look at the massive difference in terms of illumination of both these phones. The Xiaomi 13 Pro hands down allows for the most amount of light to enter. It's a hardware feature that no software trick can match up to. But the way OnePlus processes its own shot makes it preferable in its own way. Now let's move on to human portraits, which is one area that has everyone raving about the Xiaomi 13 Pro. The 75mm 3.2x telephoto lens supposedly clicks the best portraits out there on a smartphone. But how does it rank against OnePlus 11's 48mm 2x telephoto lens? Let's find out. Now thanks to its nature, the 75mm on the Xiaomi 13 Pro offers a narrower frame, putting more focus on the subject. You also get a better depth of field here, which is far more natural, while the bokeh on the OnePlus 11 screams far more software based. Now that's not to say that there are no software tricks on the Xiaomi 13 Pro, but the bokeh is way better. Now one advantage that the OnePlus 11 still has is color processing in tough lighting conditions. See, in this shot, the sun was directly behind the human and this required massive HDR processing. Now while the bokeh definitely looks better on the Xiaomi 13 Pro, the HDR processing and the boosted contrast of the OnePlus 11's shot definitely makes it more preferable. To showcase a better example of how the camera hardware in itself is powerful, take a look at this shot. This is captured straight from the lens without switching to portrait mode. The normal 3.2x lens of the Xiaomi 13 Pro versus the normal 2x lens of the OnePlus 11. The OnePlus makes the face look a bit sharper, while Xiaomi has that enhanced depth of field coming naturally, which puts an extra emphasis on the face. See, there's no denying the fact that Xiaomi's 75mm lens is much better for taking portraits. Now, one thing I want to highlight is that while the Xiaomi 13 Pro is undoubtedly better for taking portraits, there is a downside to it. See, all of those shots that you saw were taken in an environment where I could easily move around. You have to keep in mind that this is capturing portraits at a 3.2x zoom lens, while this captures at a 2x lens. And the place where this makes a massive difference is when you're hanging out with your friends in a cafe, or you're just sitting with friends and trying to capture a photo of someone sitting across the table of you. With the OnePlus 11, the shot is still manageable at 2x zoom. However, with the Xiaomi 13 Pro, you would definitely have to get up and create some distance. Otherwise, the end result would be the face taking up the entire frame, and that's it. So yeah, while the Xiaomi 13 Pro definitely captures shots that resemble that of a professional portrait camera, you have to keep in mind that you have to click photos from it like a professional camera as well. You can't just, capture photos like you usually do with a smartphone. You have to give it the respect and the effort that it deserves. Now, before you jump into any conclusions, the Xiaomi 13 Pro also has a different mode that allows you to switch from the face mode to the whole body mode. But then it makes use of the primary 23mm lens, which isn't as good as the 75mm. Now, in case you wish to see it, here's a comparison of the 75mm telephoto lens with the 23mm primary lens at the same distance. You can see that the bokeh on the 23mm primary lens looks way too fake, which is similar to what you would get from the OnePlus 11 if you captured portraits from the 1x zoom. Lastly, we have selfies, and that's one area where Xiaomi really needs to improve. Like, I'm not even gonna go into the depths of it. You can take a look at the samples. Sure, the shots are decent, but selfies are one area where the Xiaomi 13 Pro does not feel like a flagship device. The images are much better on the OnePlus 11, and I would any day pick these selfie shots over the Xiaomi 13 Pro. Now moving on to videos, both the phones support a peak resolution of 8K at 24 FPS. However, realistically, you will only be recording at 4K 30 FPS. Now you can see the results on your screen, and for the most part, they are quite similar. Xiaomi does have better illumination thanks to its sensor, but the OnePlus 11 has better details here. Now, as far as stability is concerned, both the phones have similar stability modes on offer, where you have normal stability, which basically uses just OIS. Then you have Ultra Steady, which makes use of OIS plus EIS. And then you have Ultra Steady Pro, which basically makes use of OIS plus EIS, but basically switches to the ultra-wide lens. So there's more cropping in happening in, which basically results in a better, well, a more stable footage, but of course you lose out on details. Now I've recorded videos from both the modes, which you can see on your screen. For the most part, they are quite smooth. However, the 13 Pro does skip frames, at least at the time of recording, but thankfully that's not the case in the actual processed video. Also, another thing worth highlighting is that when you turn the stabilization on, the 13 Pro disables HDR processing, which is not the case on the OnePlus 11, which makes it all the more better. Now for low light videos as well, the OnePlus 11 seems to fare a slight bit better. And the same can be said for selfie videos as well. So yeah, as far as videography is concerned, until and unless you are recording in tough lighting conditions, both the phones work very well. Now this brings us to the verdict. Is the Xiaomi 13 Pro the best camera smartphone out there? For the most part, yes, it is undoubtedly the best camera smartphone out there, especially when you're talking about portraits. That being said, the bigger highlight here is that until and unless you are very much focused into taking portrait shots, the OnePlus 11 seems to be a better value for money because you do get a slightly better HDR performance, at least in some scenarios. And in other areas where the Xiaomi 13 Pro is still the definite winner, the OnePlus 11 is not that far behind, especially when you factor in the price difference between these two smartphones. So, which of these camera smartphones will you be going for? Let us know down in the comments below. Also, like we do in every camera comparison video on our channel, you do not have to take our word for it. We have a direct download link to all of the camera samples taken directly from these phones, untouched, unfiltered in any manner. You can just directly download them, analyze the photos for yourself, and make an opinion of your own as to which camera performs better as per your own thinking. Till then, this is One from GTR, and I'll see you in the next one.